I should probably get that fixed. Hey guys, I'm James, and welcome to another ranking video, where today I'm going to be ranking every episode of Eddsworld Classic. Let's go. Eddsworld is a web cartoon created by British animator Ed Gould, showing the daily adventures of four friends, Ed, Matt, Tom, and Tord, although Tord later ended up leaving. The episodes I'm going to be focusing on today are part of the show's original classic era, which ran from 2003 to 2011, as Ed unfortunately passed away from leukemia in 2012. So now that all of that's out of the way, let's begin. Ed is a short cartoon that Ed made all the way back in 2003. It features a stick version of Ed having a random explosion-filled day. This animation is fine for what it is, and is better than I would have thought. Also, there's not much of a plot here, but it was one of Ed's first videos after all. As you can see, I don't have a lot to say about this one, but we probably wouldn't have Eddsworld at all without this short. Ed again involves Ed, again, now drawn in a very primitive version of Ed's old style. This time he has a normal day with Mag, going around the city and doing stuff. This one, as you can see, is more stylized and the animation is a little better, which isn't a high bar to pass. Once again, the plot is very simple, but at least there's more of a story than in Ed, so for those reasons, I'm putting this animation above the last. Ed vs. Pie is a nonsensical animation about Ed fighting against a pie that comes to life, and then a bunch of other random crap happens, and it's kind of confusing to be honest. The animation also looks weird. I know this was the first time characters had faces, but I feel like the eyes just stick out too much. I didn't really get this one, it's going at the bottom of the list. Christmas Special. To me, this one is the first episode to truly feel like Eddsworld, with voice acting and an engaging plot. Santa injures himself, so Ed, Tom, and Tord have to deliver the presents themselves. This one has good jokes that actually make sense. That KKK joke was unexpected, but it was great, and them somehow having all those presents at the end was an awesome way to end this one. Christmas Special is going at the top of the list. I originally didn't like this one, and I don't know why. When I rewatched it for this list, I thought it was fine. A hot girl moves in next door, so Ed and Tord both try to earn her love. This eventually ends with them trying to kill each other, but it turns out the girl is already in a relationship. Ed and Tord were pretty funny in this one. This one isn't quite as good as the last episode, but you can clearly see episodes becoming more like Eddsworld as we go on. Anyway, yeah, I'm putting this right below Christmas Special. This one is awesome, and I recommend watching it if you aren't familiar with Eddsworld. The gang crashes into an abandoned city filled with zombies. Matt tries to talk to one of them, but quickly gets killed, so Ed and Tom and Tord have to defend off the zombies. The animation in this one is a noticeable step up from the last few, and the story is pretty interesting, with Matt coming back as a zombie and everything. This is one of the first truly great Eddsworld episodes. It's going above Christmas Special. Behind the scenes is an interview with Ed, Tom, and Tord about what goes on during Eddsworld production. The jokes here were pretty good. Tom being an alcoholic and Tord being a hentai addict landed pretty well. Overall, behind the scenes is just a pretty solid, fun episode that I don't have much to say about, going right below Zombie Attack. Another Christmas special, this time for the year 2005. In a It's a Wonderful Life parody, Ed is shown the world if he was never born. Tord and Tom are successful porn directors, and Matt is homeless. Awesome. One problem I have with this one is I feel Ed didn't really seem like he wasn't appreciating his life and deserved having the whole It's a Wonderful Life treatment. But other than that, this is another silly fun episode, going below the dudette next door. In Tord's adventure, Tord gets sent an interesting photo of himself by Ed, so he goes to confront him about it. I used to think this was the first Eddsworld episode ever, probably because it's the oldest video on the YouTube channel. But yeah, this episode is pretty short, so there's not too much more I can add, but I'm putting this one below Zombie Attack. It was pretty good. F is for Fun is another short animation Ed made to celebrate 3,000 hits on his art gallery, of course featuring Ed and Tord singing the fun song from SpongeBob. This video was made very quickly, so the animation doesn't have as much effort put into it. It's not bad, but it's not as good as the others. That's pretty much all there is to say about this one. I'll throw it right under behind the scenes. Zombie Attack 2, the long-awaited sequel to Zombie Attack. Tord comes back to life as a zombie in search of the Necronomicon, a magical book that would allow him to die naturally and no longer be a zombie. So Ed and Tord set out to find it, but Tom and Matt are already on their way. The animation is about as good as the original Zombie Attack, but to me, I just like the story more, so it's going at the top of the list. Zombie Nation. Now, as far as I'm aware, this isn't related to the Zombie Attack series, but Matt gets trapped in a zombie-filled subway station, so Tord, Ed, and Tom have to go rescue him. They get to him by riding in the Bathmobile. Ed's animation was definitely improving around this point, as this episode even had believable 3D movement. The Bathmobile and humor as a whole was great in this episode. This one's going above the last one. In this one, Tord fires his gun, so Ed has to run faster than a speeding bullet. I mean, at least the 3D turning looks nice, but I have essentially nothing to say about this one. It's going above Ed again. In the morning, Tord goes to eat some bacon, but sees there's none left as Ed ate it already. The two fight each other in a very intense fight. During said fight, the two get into a car accident, which sends both of them to the hospital. Tord wakes up and learns that Ed ate the last piece of bacon in the hospital, too. This one is another short one with not too much going on, just a short and sweet episode. I'm putting this one below Tord's adventure. This one is just amazing. Ed, Matt, Tom, and Tord are all watching a movie when their TV explodes, as they tend to do, so the crew decides to go to hell, literally. They take the express elevator to the underworld and go sightseeing, visiting everything around hell, going to the zombie cafe, and even seeing their own personal damnation. The setting here is awesome, really, the scenery is just great. This is by far the most creative episode has made yet, and without a doubt it's going to the top of the list. This world of Ed shows Ed waking up to discover he's the last man on Earth. So he does what I imagine a lot of people would probably do. He steals a bus, goes around the town, and even goes streaking. After 2 days, the isolation makes him go completely insane and he kills himself. Just a short animation that did what it wanted to, but the ending with Ed's suicide seriously had me laughing so hard. It's casino night, so Ed and Matt hit the town. They get completely wasted and drunk drive. That's about it, really. It's going above faster than a speeding bullet. The third and final installment in the Zombie Attack series. Matt has returned and is now the ruler, leading a zombie uprising. Tom and Ed try to think of a way to take him down, but it won't be easy. After some intense zombie carnage, Matt falls face first into a bowl of cheese, killing him. The zombie fights here were better than ever, and Matt being defeated by drowning in cheese was honestly pretty funny. This is going right under Hello Hellhole. Ed digs up an ancient Egyptian tomb in his backyard, so the boys all go exploring in it. Once down there, they split up to look for its treasure. Each of them have a tough time, but they eventually get back together. After a quick tussle with the mummy, they get the key to a treasure chest, but alas, it was all a trap. The setting here is once again quite interesting. I like the whole Egyptian aesthetic. Overall, a very good episode. It's Halloween 2007, and there's a crazed axe murderer attacking the house. One by one, the boys are brutally killed until only Matt remains. He dies shortly thereafter, though. This was a nice, chaotic Halloween special, although a bit short. Tom is trying to kill Santa because he's Jewish, I guess. They all discover that instead of Santa, there is Xanta, an evil zombie version of Santa, and he kind of eats people. Everyone's on the naughty list, so he's out to get them. He confronts them on a Coca-Cola truck when the real Saint Nick saves the day. This is a really creative Christmas special as opposed to the rather basic ones we've had earlier. This is also the episode where Matt got his iconic purple hoodie, so that's always a good thing. You know, Spares honestly might be my favorite episode. After the crew goes to a movie, the director clones them, since they're the only people on Earth to watch it. After watching the movie, the clones escape and cause mayhem. They go to an arcade, which they later burn to the ground, and then they go home. Ed's clones drink his last Coke, so they start mass killing them. Another reason this episode is great is because of just how damn funny it is. I mean, look.
How do you morons even breathe?
With the funny writing and creative plot, Spares is definitely going at the top of the list. I don't see anything surpassing it, honestly. The boys are sitting at home when they make the decision to join the military. They sign up and begin recruit training. The training is tough, but eventually they're sent off to war. During this, they steal a tank and destroy the enemy base. This one is a pretty fun war-themed episode that I enjoyed a lot. I'll put it under Zombie Attack 3. Yeah, I know I said nothing would top Spares, but here we are. Anyway, the episode starts off with Tord leaving. After this, Matt flushes the fridge keys down the toilet, so Ed, Matt, and Tom have to flush themselves away to look for them. They end up in the not-so-lost city of Atlantis, where they go to the Wonders of Above Museum and steal the keys. This causes them to be wanted criminals and for them to be publicly executed by Oxygen. Like always, the jokes were great in this one, but the scenery is just fantastic. Like, this environment of underwater and the fish people makes this whole city of Atlantis feel so alive. Also, not to mention, the idea of this episode is just so genius. Flushing themselves down the toilet and ending up in a lost city like it's just an average Tuesday to them. I'm putting this above Spares for sure. In this Halloween special, Matt becomes a vampire. Tom and Ed try to kill him with a steak gun, but end up killing themselves instead. In the end, Matt goes into the sun by accident and burns to death. Matt Sucks is a pretty average good episode, and that's about it. Going under Ruined. Xanta is back. After he sends some exploding Christmas carolers, Ed, Matt, and Tom go on a hunt for him by flying to the North Pole. Turns out Xanta has kidnapped Santa. He traps the boys using their greatest desires against them. After overcoming them, they confront Xanta and he ends up dead. Santa Claus 2 is just an overall improvement of the original Santa Claus, and Jesus Christ, I'm just now realizing how many Christmas specials there are. Tom gets a video camera, so the boys start making videos. They make some low-budget challenge videos at first until they move on to a full feature film. Matt does special effects, Ed is in charge of props, and Tom's in charge of writing. After a long day of filming and editing, their movie is done. And even if people hate it, it isn't the end of the world. Except it actually is. Movie Makers is a pretty fun episode with an interesting concept, and all of Matt's sound effects involving terrifying children was pretty funny. I'm going to be putting Movie Makers under Hello Hellhole. Another Christmas special. Big surprise there. This one's just Ed, Matt, and Tom waking up on Christmas Day, getting presents, and making dinner. Not much to say here, but I enjoyed it for what it was, going above Santa Claus 1. Ah, yes, What the Future. All-time fan favorite and also the longest single classic episode, almost 11 minutes. In this one, future Ed travels to the past. Since cola has been outlawed as a drug, he decides to kill his past self so he wouldn't have to suffer such a grim fate. This makes no sense, but we'll go with it. He hunts down Ed and the gang for a while before going back in time to get help. He briefly stops by the zombie attack and then gathers an army of Eds, which aren't much help. Future Tom and Matt also appear. They fight future Ed for the time travel device before present Matt uses it to make himself the ruler of Earth. This plot is once again really creative. There was going to be a sequel to this episode, but sadly Ed passed away before he could make it a reality. The animation also genuinely looks like something I'd see on TV or something. What the Future is amazing. It's going right up there with 25 Feet Under the Sea. Now we have a two-parter. Matt needs more space for his junk since it's completely flooded his room. So Ed and Tom and Matt decide to build an extra floor. While planning this, we are introduced to Eduardo, Ed's rival, along with his goons Mark and John. Matt goes to the store for nails, or tries to, while Ed and Tom start building. They have an obligatory building montage and make something, but obviously Matt can't live in it, so Ed calls a roof company and they drop a roof right on their house. But something isn't right. Oh well, guess we'll have to wait for part 2. Xanta is back for part thrice this time. Xanta recruits Tom to help destroy Christmas. But Tom ditches him and goes to destroy Christmas himself. He even blows up half the city. Tom has an absolute blast ruining Christmas, so Santa, Matt, and Ed go after him using a gigantic robot. Tord would be proud. Tom then sings a song to rival Eminem about how he hates Christmas. Upon hearing the absolute heat that Tom just laid down, Santa goes back with him, and they both get shot down by a missile. Number 3 is definitely the best of the Santa Claus episodes, that's for sure. The concluding part to Hammer and Fail. They realize the second floor is possessed by a cleaning demon. They go to the roofing company and it turns out they forgot to get anti-ghost insurance. So the boys suit up to kick the spirit out of their house. They burst through the doors and everything seems fine. So they start breaking stuff to piss off the demon and make it reveal itself. Eduardo and his goons watch from outside while the gang has a rooftop rumble inside. But in the end, it's revealed the spirit is meant for Eduardo all along. Hammer and Fail Part 2 has really good animation as well as a good story. It's honestly one of the best Eddsworld episodes. I'm going to be putting it just under What the Future. That's all of Eddsworld Classic. But now I think it's time to rank every episode from worst to best. Let's go. Ed vs. Pie. Ed again. Faster than a speeding bullet. Casino Night. Christmas 2005. The Dudette Next Door. Christmas Special 2004. F is for Fun. This World of Ed. Behind the Scenes. Breakfast. Halloween Special 2007. Towards Adventure. Zombie Attack. Zombie Attack 2. Zombie Nation. Santa Claus. Christmas Day. Matt Sucks. Ruined. Santa Claus 2. Santa Claus 3. Moving Targets. Zombie Attack 3. Movie Makers. Hammer and Fail Part 1. Spares. Hello Hellhole. Hammer and Fail Part 2. What the Future. And finally... Alright everybody, that was another ranking video that I hope you all enjoyed. But anyway, I'm going to bed.